Every journey begins with a decision to rise, to grow, and to become more than you were yesterday. The gym isn't just a place of iron and sweat. It's a battlefield where you confront your weaknesses and shape your destiny. Every rep you push, every drop of sweat you shed, every moment of exhaustion you overcome, it's all proof that you are refusing to remain ordinary. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you keep showing up, even when no one is watching, even when the world doubts you. Growth doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who work. Every day you walk into that gym, you're planting the seeds of greatness. Most people give up because they don't see instant results, but legends, they understand that every set, every rep, every ounce of pain is building the future version of themselves. You're not just lifting weights, you're lifting your mindset, your spirit, and your potential. True power is not something that can be bought, injected, or borrowed. It is built slowly, brick by brick, through consistency, patience, and hard work. Every drop of sweat you shed in the gym becomes a part of your foundation. The more you push yourself naturally, the more your body responds with strength, energy, and confidence. You don't need shortcuts when your dedication is pure. You are the creator of your own power, and that power comes from self-control, from the grind that no one sees but everyone feels when you walk into a room. Your natural strength is your divine gift. It's the result of discipline, nutrition, sleep, and a clear mind. When you start training naturally, your body produces testosterone in its purest form, fueling your muscle growth and focus. Every rep you lift sends a message to your body that says, "I'm becoming stronger." You train not just for aesthetics, but for ability, not for looks, but for purpose. You build a body that can endure, fight, and protect. Each time you push through the pain, your body rewards you. You might not see the results overnight, but your body is changing from within. Your cells, your hormones, your energy, everything starts to align when you train naturally and live clean. It's not only about how much you lift, but about how deeply you connect to the process. When your effort becomes consistent, your body naturally increases its power levels. Testosterone is not just a hormone, it's your body's signal that you're living with purpose. Shortcuts are for the weak. Real men earn their strength through struggle, not through easy routes. A natural body built with dedication carries respect because it tells a story of self-control and integrity. Your strength becomes a reflection of your character. Every time you lift, you're training your willpower, not just your muscles. You're teaching your mind to stay committed even when the body screams to stop. When you train clean, eat clean, and rest well, your body thrives. Your recovery improves, your energy rises, and your confidence grows. You don't need anything external to feel powerful, because the power already exists within you. That natural strength builds a balance between humility and confidence. You know your limits, but you also know how to break them one by one. You respect your body because it's the vessel through which you perform your mission. The gym becomes your training ground for life. Every rep, every set teaches you patience and consistency. You realize that strength doesn't come from lifting heavy for one day. It comes from showing up when you're tired, busy, or uninspired. It comes from being loyal to your vision. Over time, this mindset doesn't just build your muscles. It forges a warrior within you who is ready for life's toughest challenges. Your natural strength grows with your self-control. The more you avoid things that weaken your mind and body, the stronger your inner fire burns. You start to notice that your energy is different, your posture changes, your mindset becomes sharper. It's not arrogance, It's quiet confidence, the kind that comes from discipline. You walk differently because you carry a sense of control, not chaos. Natural growth takes longer, but that's what makes it powerful. It's the journey that separates the committed from the casual. Those who take shortcuts fade fast because their strength wasn't earned, it was borrowed. But when you build strength naturally, it stays with you. It becomes part of who you are, not something that depends on a substance or a cycle. It's your real armor, created by your own hands through patience and persistence. Every time you finish a workout naturally, you walk out stronger than you entered. Your hormones regulate better, your mood lifts, and your focus sharpens. You start to feel that energy flowing through your entire body, an energy that can't be replicated artificially. That's your natural testosterone responding to your consistency. It's your body's way of rewarding you for being disciplined. In the end, natural strength becomes your identity. It represents your journey, your self-mastery, and your faith in the process. You didn't need to cheat to get here. You trusted your effort, you respected your limits, and you surpassed them one rep at a time. That's how real warriors are built, through patience, pain, and pure determination that no shortcut could ever replace. Every great transformation begins in the mind long before it shows in the mirror. If your mindset is weak, your body will follow. But when your mentality becomes unshakable, your physique becomes unstoppable. The gym is not just a place to build your muscles, it's a battlefield where you strengthen your mind. Every rep is not only lifting weight off a bar, but also lifting doubt off your soul. You're teaching yourself that no obstacle, no pain, and no excuse can overpower a disciplined mind. When you walk into the gym, it's you against you. Nobody else matters in that moment. Not who's watching, not who's lifting heavier, not who's ahead. The only thing that matters is whether you'll give your best today. Training your mindset means silencing the noise of comparison and focusing on progress. You start understanding that growth is personal. It's about who you were yesterday and who you're becoming today. That's where mental strength begins, in the refusal to be distracted by anything that doesn't serve your purpose. A savage mindset is forged through repetition. When you repeat discipline long enough, it becomes instinct. You no longer have to motivate yourself because consistency becomes your nature. Every time you resist the temptation to quit, your mental muscle grows stronger. You start seeing discomfort not as punishment but as progress. You welcome the pain because you know it's the only way to evolve. That's when your body begins to respond to your thoughts, when your mind becomes the leader and your body simply follows its command. There will be days when motivation disappears. You'll wake up tired, stressed, or unmotivated, but your mindset will remind you of your commitment. That's what separates champions from the rest. The strong don't rely on feelings, they rely on principles. You push yourself because you said you would, not because you feel like it. That kind of discipline builds respect not from others but from yourself. You begin to trust your word because you know you'll follow through no matter how hard it gets. Mental toughness is built when you train even when no one's watching. It's easy to act committed in front of people, but real warriors grind in silence. When the gym is empty, when the night is late, when your body aches, that's when your true character is revealed. You're not doing it for validation, you're doing it for growth. That's the mentality that builds lasting strength, the kind that carries over into every part of life. Your mindset determines how far your body can go. You can have all the knowledge about nutrition and training, but if your thoughts are weak, you'll break at the first sign of resistance. A powerful mindset sees pain as fuel, failure as feedback, and pressure as preparation. You begin to rewire your thoughts until even your struggles start to serve you. Every setback becomes a setup for a stronger comeback, because your mind no longer accepts defeat as an option. A trained mind doesn't panic under pressure. It stays calm when things get tough because it's prepared for challenges. That calm confidence comes from discipline, from doing the hard work when no one claps for you. You learn to control your emotions, channel your energy, and focus your intensity on the goal. That kind of focus transforms you from average to elite. You start living with purpose, walking with confidence, and speaking with power because you've already conquered the hardest battle, the one inside your mind. When you train your mind to stay strong, you stop chasing motivation and start living in momentum. You no longer wait for the perfect time to act, you create it. Your mindset becomes the engine that drives your body forward. Even when progress feels slow, your discipline keeps you moving. You realize that consistency beats intensity and persistence beats perfection. That understanding becomes your advantage because most people quit when results delay, but you keep going. As your mindset grows stronger, your entire energy changes. People can feel it when you enter a room, a quiet intensity, a sense of control, a focus that can't be shaken. That's not arrogance, that's self-mastery. You've trained your mind to stay disciplined under pressure, patient through pain, and focused in chaos. You start realizing that the gym is just a reflection of life. If you can endure discomfort there, you can handle anything outside it. Eventually, your mindset becomes your armor. No negativity can penetrate it, no failure can break it, and no hardship can make you quit. You're no longer dependent on circumstances because your mind has already decided the outcome, success. You understand now that strength starts within. Every rep, every drop of sweat, every moment of struggle has been shaping not only your body, but the person you are becoming, unbreakable, focused, and built for greatness. Your body is a reflection of how much discipline lives inside you. The muscles you see, the strength you feel, the endurance you build, all of it comes from the decisions you make daily. Discipline is not a burst of energy, it's a lifelong commitment. It's waking up early when no one's forcing you, training hard when no one's cheering, and pushing through when your mind says stop. The world might not see your effort immediately, but your results will speak when the time comes. Discipline doesn't make noise. It builds silently until success becomes impossible to ignore. Every great athlete, every strong physique, and every transformation began with the same thing, a decision to stay disciplined. It's easy to train when you feel inspired, but the real growth happens when you show up even when you're exhausted, stressed, or unmotivated. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It's the ability to move forward without waiting for perfect conditions. The more consistent you become, the less your emotions control your actions. That's when the shift happens, when your habits take control of your destiny. Discipline also means sacrifice. It means saying no to short-term comfort for long-term results. You skip the late nights, the junk food, the laziness, not because you can't have them, but because you've chosen something greater. You've chosen to build a stronger, sharper, more capable version of yourself. That's the real reward of discipline, the pride of knowing you earned every ounce of progress with your own effort. You stop chasing instant gratification because you've tasted something better, the satisfaction of progress. Your discipline extends beyond the gym. It shows up in how you eat, how you sleep, how you think, and how you handle challenges. You start realizing that discipline is not punishment, it's protection. It protects your goals from distraction, your vision from temptation, and your progress from destruction. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your foundation. You begin to understand that true freedom comes from self-control, not indulgence. There will always be people looking for shortcuts, for easy routes, for results without work. But those paths lead nowhere. The disciplined ones stay consistent, stay patient, and stay committed to the process. They know that every great result comes from time and effort combined. Discipline teaches you that success is not a one-time act but a repeated habit. You build your future not in a day, but in the thousands of disciplined days that no one ever sees. Discipline also shapes your mindset. It teaches you resilience, the ability to keep going despite difficulty. You stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as feedback. You don't rely on motivation anymore because discipline doesn't depend on feelings. It depends on principles. You train your mind to obey your purpose, not your emotions. That mental toughness transfers into every part of your life, making you stronger both inside and out. When you're disciplined, the gym becomes your classroom. Every rep teaches patience, every set teaches consistency, and every drop of sweat teaches humility. You start realizing that discipline is not just about control, it's about alignment. Your goals, actions, and mindset align together until success becomes inevitable. You no longer question whether you'll achieve your goals, you just keep working until it happens. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. Small, consistent efforts become massive results over time. What once felt difficult becomes effortless because you've trained your mind to expect effort. You don't wait for results to stay disciplined, you stay disciplined to get results. You realize that consistency doesn't just build your body, it builds your reputation with yourself. When you trust your own word, you no longer need external validation. Every time you resist distraction and stay focused, you're building something deeper than muscle, you're building character. Discipline teaches you patience, humility, and control. It gives you power over your own choices, and that's the highest level of strength. The disciplined man doesn't need to prove anything to anyone because his actions prove it daily. He becomes calm, consistent, and unstoppable. In the end, discipline turns you into a machine of purpose. You move with clarity, act with conviction, and live with structure. You no longer drift through life waiting for opportunities, you create them through consistency. Discipline isn't something you practice once, it's something you live every day. And the day you master, it is the day you realize nothing can stand between you and your potential. Every person who walks into the gym with a dream will face resistance, not just from the weights, but from life itself. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments when everything feels heavy, both mentally and physically. But the ones who rise are those who know how to bounce back stronger. Resilience isn't about never falling, it's about refusing to stay down. When life hits hard, when your strength fades, when your progress slows, resilience is what whispers in your ear, get up and try again. That mindset is what transforms a lifter into a warrior. The iron teaches resilience better than anything else. Every failed rep, every missed lift, every sore muscle is a lesson in persistence. You learn that pain doesn't mean you're losing, it means you're growing. Growth never happens in comfort, and the gym is proof of that truth. You might walk in feeling weak some days, but you leave stronger because you endured. You don't need perfection, you need persistence. Each time you push through, you're building more than muscle, you're building an unbreakable spirit. Resilience means not giving up when the progress slows down. There will be days, even weeks, when your body doesn't show visible results. That's when most people quit, but not you. You understand that results aren't always immediate. Sometimes they're hidden beneath the surface, waiting for consistency to bring them out. You stay patient, trusting that your hard work will pay off in time. That patience is strength in itself because it's fueled by faith in the process. Every challenge that tries to break you is actually shaping you. The harder it gets, the stronger you become. Resilience doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in discomfort. When your body screams to stop, your mind learns to lead. You discover that your limits are not real. They are illusions created by temporary pain. Once you break through them, you realize that your strength isn't physical first, it's mental. You keep showing up not because it's easy, but because it's necessary for who you want to become. Resilience also means forgiving yourself for the days you fall short. You might skip a workout, break a diet, or lose focus for a moment. But resilience tells you that one mistake doesn't define you, quitting does. You learn to start again immediately, not next week or next month. You take responsibility without shame and use it as fuel to do better. That kind of mindset separates the disciplined from the defeated. You stop expecting perfection and start pursuing progress relentlessly. In every set, you face resistance. The weight doesn't move unless you push it. That resistance is life teaching you how to stay strong. You start seeing pressure differently, not as something to avoid, but something to embrace. You realize that if life were easy, you would never grow. Resilience is the reward for enduring pain and coming out wiser, tougher, and more determined. The more you endure, the more unshakable your spirit becomes. When you train long enough, you notice that resilience becomes part of your character. It's no longer something you have to think about. It becomes who you are. You face problems outside the gym with the same calm intensity you show inside it. You don't panic when life gets tough because you've already faced difficulty under the barbell. You know how to stay composed under pressure, how to fight through pain, and how to rise when you fall. That's the power the gym gives you beyond the physical. Resilience builds confidence. It teaches you that no matter how bad things get, you can always fight your way back. That belief changes everything. You stop fearing challenges because you've learned to survive them. Every time you recover from a setback, you remind yourself of your strength. You understand now that resilience isn't about avoiding pain, it's about mastering it. Pain becomes your teacher and endurance becomes your weapon. In time, resilience becomes your silent strength, the kind of strength that doesn't shout but stands firm. It's the power to stay committed when others quit. You begin to respect the struggle because you know it's shaping you. You don't rush the process anymore, you embrace it. You realize that every test, every delay, every hardship is preparing you for something greater. Resilience doesn't just build a stronger body, it builds a wiser, calmer, and more grounded soul. When you finally look back at how far you've come, you'll realize that resilience was the thread that held everything together. The missed workouts, the failures, the days you felt like giving up, they were all part of your transformation. You've learned to stand tall through the storms, to push when tired, and to fight when out of strength. That's resilience, the quiet, consistent force that keeps you unbroken, unstoppable, and forever moving forward. Strength isn't built just by lifting heavy weights. It's built by lifting yourself when life gets heavy. The gym mirrors life, the resistance, the struggle, the failure, and the fight to rise again. When you face that barbell, you're not just training your muscles, you're training your will. You're teaching yourself how to stay calm under pressure, how to move with precision even when exhausted, and how to give your best effort no matter what. Strength begins the moment you refuse to give up. It's not something that appears suddenly. It's something you earn through pain, patience, and persistence. When you commit to the gym, you commit to transformation. Every repetition, every drop of sweat, every extra set builds your foundation brick by brick. You begin to understand that strength is not a momentary effort. It's a lifestyle. You can't fake it, and you can't buy it. You have to earn it every day through hard work and discipline. The people who build real strength are those who learn to fall in love with the grind, the daily repetition, the steady progress, the endless pursuit of getting better. Your body follows your mind. When your mind becomes stronger, your lifts get heavier, your form gets sharper, and your endurance improves. You start to realize that your biggest obstacle was never the weight. It was your own doubt. Every time you push through fatigue, you prove that strength isn't measured in kilograms. It's measured in how much you're willing to endure. That's what separates those who build temporary strength from those who build lasting power. Strength is also about consistency. It doesn't come from doing extraordinary things once. It comes from doing ordinary things repeatedly with purpose. You train, you eat, you rest, you repeat. It's the daily discipline that compounds over time and turns into undeniable results. You might not notice change immediately, but one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come, how many battles you've fought silently, and how many limits you've shattered without anyone noticing. Physical strength grows when mental strength leads. When your thoughts become disciplined, your body follows. You start understanding that you can't control everything, but you can control your effort. The weights don't get lighter, you just get stronger. That mindset starts to shape every area of your life. You stop complaining, stop looking for shortcuts, and stop blaming circumstances. You start owning your journey because strength demands responsibility for your choices, your habits, and your results. Pain becomes your greatest teacher. Every sore muscle, every failure, every moment of fatigue has a lesson. Instead of running from discomfort, you begin to embrace it. You learn to use pain as fuel, as a reminder that growth is happening. The people who quit when it hurts never experience real strength. But those who keep pushing through the burn, through the mental fatigue, through the setbacks, they become the ones who can't be broken. Pain becomes a test, and every time you pass it, you earn more strength. Real strength also means balance. You know when to push and when to recover, when to fight and when to rest. Recovery is part of the process, not a weakness. Your body needs time to rebuild stronger, and your mind needs space to refocus. You start valuing sleep, hydration, and nutrition not as side habits, but as core parts of becoming powerful. You learn that strength isn't just physical. It's mental clarity, emotional control, and spiritual calm. As your strength grows, so does your confidence, not arrogance, but quiet assurance. You no longer need to prove yourself because your work speaks for you. You move with discipline, talk with purpose, and act with focus. People can see your strength before you even flex, because it shows in your energy, your posture, and your self-control. That kind of strength doesn't fade. It becomes part of your identity. Strength also builds humility. When you've been through the grind, when you've failed, struggled, and still risen, you learn to respect others' journeys too. You realize everyone is fighting a battle you can't see, and true strength is not about dominance, it's about discipline. The stronger you become, the calmer you grow. You don't need to compete with others. You compete with your own past. That inner peace becomes your greatest form of power. In the end, strength is not about how much you can lift. It's about how much you can carry in life. The discipline, patience, and resilience you build in the gym prepare you for challenges outside it. You face problems with the same mindset you use to lift, steady, focused, and unshaken. And when the world tests you, your strength answers silently, not through words, but through your unbreakable ability to endure, overcome, and rise again. Discipline is the silent force behind every strong body and every strong mind. It's the invisible muscle that separates the dreamers from the doers. When you walk into the gym, your body might be tired, your mind might be distracted, but discipline doesn't care about feelings, it commands action. Discipline says you will train today, even when motivation whispers, take a break. The strongest people aren't those who feel inspired all the time. They are those who show up no matter how they feel, because they know one truth: if you only work when it's easy, you'll never become great. Discipline means doing what's necessary, not what's convenient. When the alarm rings early in the morning, you don't argue with it. You rise, you prepare, you go. You understand that each repetition, each meal, each decision is either building your strength or breaking it. Every small choice matters. The disciplined mind doesn't see the gym as an option. It sees it as a duty. It's not about punishment, it's about purpose. You follow structure not because someone tells you to, but because you've set a standard that you refuse to lower. There's something powerful about routine. When you follow a plan, your body adapts, your mind focuses, and your spirit strengthens. Discipline makes you predictable in the best way. People can rely on you. You can rely on yourself. It becomes part of your identity, a reflection of your integrity. You train when no one is watching. You eat clean when no one is clapping. You rest properly when no one praises you for it. Discipline is doing the right thing in silence and letting results make the noise. The hardest part about discipline is not starting, it's continuing. Everyone can begin a journey, but few have the endurance to walk it all the way. Discipline teaches you to keep going when progress feels invisible. It tells you to trust the process when your body isn't changing as fast as you hope. It whispers, keep going, when your mind says it's not working. You begin to realize that consistency compounds. What you do today might not show tomorrow, but it will show eventually, and when it does, it will be undeniable. Discipline also builds character. It's not just about lifting weights, it's about lifting standards. You start applying the same mindset to your work, your relationships, and your faith. You stop making excuses because you understand they don't burn calories and they don't build muscles. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your ability to control yourself, and that's the highest form of strength a person can have. You become the kind of person who follows through, not because it's easy, but because it's right. When you live with discipline, you stop chasing motivation. You no longer depend on music, energy drinks, or hype videos to move. You move because you've built the habit. You've programmed your body and mind to act even when emotion is absent. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. It burns steady, not wild. It stays lit even when the winds of doubt or fatigue blow. That's why disciplined people succeed, because they've trained themselves to perform on command, not on inspiration. Discipline also brings freedom. The more structure you build, the more control you gain. You eat right not because someone forces you, but because you've learned what food fuels you best. You rest properly because you understand recovery is sacred. You stay focused in the gym because you respect your time and your goals. That kind of control feels powerful, not restricting. It liberates you from laziness, procrastination, and weakness. Discipline isn't a prison, it's the key that unlocks your best version. There will be days when discipline feels heavy, when you'll want to quit, skip, or give in. But that's exactly when it's being tested. Those are the moments that separate the ordinary from the exceptional. Every rep on those days counts double because they're not built on comfort. They're built on will. And when you overcome those days, something inside you changes. You realize you don't need perfect conditions to be consistent. You just need the courage to begin each day again. Through discipline, you also learn patience. You stop expecting overnight results because you understand growth takes time. You plant the seed, you water it, you wait. You don't dig it up every week to see if it's growing. You trust your effort, your plan, and your persistence. That's how champions think. They don't rush the process, they respect it. Discipline gives you that calm, the peace of knowing that even when progress is slow, you're still moving forward. In the end, discipline becomes who you are. It's no longer something you practice. It's something you live. It shows in how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you treat your goals. The gym becomes a reflection of your values, order, consistency, focus, and humility. Discipline transforms your workouts, but more than that, it transforms your life. Because once you've mastered yourself, there's nothing left in this world you cannot conquer. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Every rep that burns, every muscle that aches, every drop of sweat that stings your eyes, it's all communication from your body saying, you are alive, you are growing, and you are becoming more. Pain is not punishment, it's progress in disguise. Most people run from it, but the strong run toward it. Because deep down, they know comfort never made anyone great. Pain is what breaks your limits and reveals your strength. The key is to stop fearing it and start understanding it. When you embrace pain, you take control of your transformation. The gym is the perfect battlefield for learning this lesson. You go in and the weights don't care how you feel. They challenge you the same way every single time. That's why pain becomes the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. You lift until your muscles scream, not because you enjoy suffering, but because you understand that growth only happens on the other side of discomfort. The pain of training is temporary, but the pride it builds lasts forever. That's why you never back down, you push through it with focus and patience. Pain also humbles you. It reminds you that you're human, that strength isn't just physical, it's spiritual. When you feel pain, you realize how much you still have to learn about patience, control, and gratitude. It keeps your ego in check. No matter how strong you get, pain will always remind you that there's another level. And every time you rise above it, you don't just become physically tougher, you become mentally sharper. You begin to appreciate that every challenge is a blessing designed to elevate your discipline. Many people quit when pain shows up because they see it as a wall. But the truth is, it's not a wall, it's a door. Only those who endure long enough can open it. The burn in your chest during a heavy set, the fatigue that hits after long hours of training, those moments are the doorway to transformation. You just need to stay long enough on the other side to see what's waiting for you. The pain you feel today is the price for the strength you'll have tomorrow. In every rep you complete through discomfort builds not just your body, but your character. When you stop running from pain, you start learning from it. Pain teaches focus, it teaches patience, it teaches respect for the process. It tells you when you've done enough and when you can go a little further. That awareness builds mastery. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter because you've learned how to handle struggle. You realize pain isn't chaos, it's communication. It's the signal that something powerful is happening inside you, something that comfort could never produce. Pain also exposes the truth. It reveals who's serious and who's pretending. Everyone looks motivated until it starts to hurt. The ones who quit when it burns are the ones who only love the idea of progress, not the reality of it. But those who push through, those who keep grinding while their muscles shake and lungs burn, they are the ones who understand that greatness is forged in discomfort. You can't build a diamond without pressure, and you can't build a strong body without pain. It's part of the formula, not an obstacle, but an ingredient. Every time you overcome pain, you build trust in yourself. You prove that you can survive the moments that once broke you. That trust turns into confidence. You walk differently. You speak differently. You train with certainty, knowing that no matter how hard it gets, you can handle it. Pain stops controlling you because you've learned to control your response to it. You stop seeing it as a threat and start seeing it as a partner in your progress. Pain also refines your purpose. It strips away distractions and forces you to remember why you started. When you're deep in a hard set and everything hurts, your why is what keeps you going. Pain makes sure you're serious about your goals. It tests your commitment. It asks you, do you really want this? And when your answer is yes, when you push through with faith, effort, and discipline, that's when pain turns into power. In the quiet moments after the pain fades, you begin to realize its beauty. You look back and see that every struggle shaped you into who you are now. The soreness, the fatigue, the hard days, they were all preparing you for something greater. Pain was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to rebuild you stronger, wiser, and more focused. Without it, you'd never know how powerful you truly are. When you learn to endure pain with patience and faith, it no longer feels like suffering. It feels like growth. Every ache becomes a reminder that you're alive, working, and improving. The difference between the weak and the strong isn't that the strong feel less pain. It's that they've learned how to use it. They turn every ounce of discomfort into energy, every obstacle into motivation, and every scar into a story of survival. That's what savage discipline looks like. The ability to embrace pain and turn it into progress. Discipline is the foundation of a savage mentality. It's what separates those who talk about success from those who live it. In the gym, discipline is not about motivation or mood. It's about consistency. You show up whether you feel like it or not, because your commitment is stronger than your emotions. The body follows where the mind leads, and a disciplined mind doesn't negotiate with laziness. Every time you train when it's uncomfortable, you're reminding yourself that you're in control. Discipline teaches you that real strength is not about what you can do once, but what you can repeat daily without excuses. The savage mindset doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It creates it through routine and effort. When the alarm rings early, when the muscles are sore, when life feels heavy, that's when discipline takes over. It doesn't ask for comfort, it demands consistency. The disciplined lifter doesn't rely on hype, they rely on habit. They know that one missed session can break momentum, and one weak choice can delay progress. So, they train with focus, eat with purpose, and rest with strategy. That rhythm becomes their identity, not a temporary challenge but a lifelong commitment. Discipline also requires self-respect. You can't expect your body to respect you if your actions don't align with your goals. Every meal you eat, every rep you complete, every hour you sleep, they all send a message to yourself about how serious you are. Discipline is the language of respect. When you keep your word to yourself, your confidence grows. You begin to trust your own effort. You stop searching for external validation because your daily discipline becomes your proof. You don't need to show off results, they show themselves. In the gym, discipline looks simple: lifting weights, counting reps, staying consistent, but its power runs deep. It's the act of mastering small decisions that create big outcomes. When you discipline yourself to control what you eat, how you rest, and how you recover, you're mastering your impulses. You stop reacting to every craving or emotion. That control transfers into every part of life. You become calmer, clearer, and more focused. Discipline builds a structure inside you that chaos can't break. The savage mentality doesn't see discipline as a burden. It sees it as freedom. Because when you are disciplined, you are no longer a slave to comfort, distraction, or laziness. You make choices that serve your long-term vision instead of your short-term feelings. You learn that saying no to weakness is saying yes to strength. Discipline becomes a shield that protects your focus and a sword that cuts through every excuse. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent enough to improve every single day. True discipline also demands patience. Results don't appear overnight, and progress doesn't come from rush. It comes from repetition. The disciplined athlete understands that greatness is a process. They don't quit when the scale doesn't move or when the mirror doesn't change fast enough. They keep going, knowing that time rewards those who persist. Discipline keeps you grounded when excitement fades. It keeps you moving when motivation dies. It's the engine that runs even when inspiration is gone. Every disciplined moment in the gym becomes a lesson in mental toughness. When you push through fatigue, you learn resilience. When you stick to your plan despite distractions, you learn focus. When you delay comfort to achieve long-term gain, you learn mastery. Discipline trains more than your muscles, it trains your spirit. It builds a mindset that refuses to quit even when things get tough. And that's what turns ordinary people into warriors, not talent, not luck, but discipline. Discipline also sharpens your sense of purpose. It makes you aware of your priorities and eliminates the noise that slows you down. When you live with discipline, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop chasing instant gratification and start building legacy. In the gym, that means focusing on form, intensity, and consistency instead of shortcuts. Every set becomes a reflection of who you are: precise, patient, and determined. Discipline gives meaning to your effort and direction to your energy. When you practice discipline long enough, it becomes instinct. You no longer need to force yourself to act. It becomes part of who you are. You wake up ready, eat clean without hesitation, train hard without complaint. The things that once felt difficult now feel natural because discipline has reprogrammed your mindset. You no longer seek comfort, you seek progress. That's when you realize that discipline is not just a skill, it's a lifestyle. It's the foundation of greatness and the proof of your commitment. Discipline doesn't shout, it whispers through actions repeated daily. It's in the quiet mornings when you show up before everyone else. It's in the late nights when you prepare meals instead of indulging. It's in every moment you choose growth over ease. And in time, those quiet moments of discipline turn into loud results. That's what the savage mentality is built upon: unshakable consistency, silent work, and unstoppable focus. Discipline is not just part of the process. It is asterisk the process. Confidence in the gym is not something you buy, fake, or borrow. It's something you build through struggle. Every time you step under a heavy barbell, every time you challenge yourself to go one more rep, your confidence grows, not the kind that boasts or shows off. but the kind that sits quietly inside and says, "I've earned this." Real confidence comes from doing what most people avoid. The early mornings, the sore muscles, the disciplined eating, the lonely sessions when no one's watching. It's born in the grind and solidified in the silence of effort. When you train with purpose, confidence becomes your natural state. It's not arrogance, it's assurance. You no longer doubt your ability to overcome pain because you've done it before, again and again. Each session adds another layer to your self-belief. When you lift, you're not just strengthening your body, you're conditioning your mind to trust itself. The gym becomes a reflection of your inner dialogue. If you think weak, you'll perform weak. But when your mindset says, "I can," your body follows. Confidence is built repetition by repetition, just like muscle. Confidence doesn't mean you never feel fear or hesitation. It means you move forward despite them. The heavy weights will always test you. The soreness will always tempt you to stop. But confidence whispers, "You've been here before and you came out stronger." That's what makes confidence unshakable. It's not based on perfection, but persistence. You fail, you adjust, and you keep going. You stop comparing your journey with others and start focusing on your own growth. Because true confidence doesn't compete, it continues. When you build confidence through effort, you also build respect for yourself and for the process. You start walking differently, standing taller, speaking less but meaning more. The gym changes the way you carry yourself because it changes what you believe about yourself. You stop needing approval from others because your results become your validation. Every improvement, no matter how small, becomes proof that your consistency is paying off. Confidence doesn't shout in the gym. It shows through discipline, focus, and control. Confidence also teaches humility. You learn that even on your strongest days, there's always more to improve. It keeps you hungry, not arrogant. You realize that confidence isn't about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing you're better than you used to be. It's about appreciating how far you've come and still pushing to go further. The confident athlete doesn't belittle others, they inspire them. Because they know what it feels like to start from zero, to struggle, to doubt, and still rise. Confidence and preparation go hand in hand. You can't expect to feel confident if you're not prepared. That's why the strongest people train their mind and body with equal effort. They eat clean, they recover properly, and they study their craft. When the moment of challenge comes, they don't panic, because they've already prepared. Their confidence comes from discipline, not luck. When you've done the work, you don't need to fake confidence. It radiates naturally. You stand ready because you know you've earned your place. Confidence grows with ownership. You stop blaming circumstances, stop making excuses, and start taking full control of your actions. Every mistake becomes a lesson instead of a setback. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to prove yourself again. Confidence doesn't come from always winning. It comes from surviving losses without quitting. The person who refuses to give up becomes the person who can't be defeated. That's real power, not in how loud you roar, but in how long you endure. In the gym, confidence is often mistaken for ego, but they're worlds apart. Ego seeks attention, confidence seeks mastery. Ego shows off, confidence shows up. The confident lifter isn't there to impress anyone. They're there to improve. They don't chase numbers for validation, they chase progress for growth. Their calm focus is intimidating because it's real. When you walk into the gym with that kind of quiet strength, people notice not because you say something, but because your presence speaks for you. Confidence becomes contagious. When others see your consistency, your determination, your unbreakable mindset, they feel inspired. You become a living example of what hard work can do. That's how leaders are built, not through words, but through actions. You start motivating others without even trying, simply because your journey reflects what's possible when belief meets discipline. Your confidence becomes a source of light in a world full of doubt. And the deeper your confidence grows, the more peace you find. You no longer rush results or chase validation. You know who you are and where you're going. You trust the process and respect the path. Confidence becomes your armor, not to hide weakness, but to protect your purpose. It reminds you that every rep, every struggle, every small victory is building something greater inside you. And when life tests you outside the gym, that same unshakable confidence stands tall, silent, strong, and unbreakable. Growth in the gym is not just about bigger muscles or heavier lifts. It's about evolving into a stronger version of yourself every single day. True growth begins when you decide that comfort is no longer your home. The body grows only when the mind pushes it beyond its limits. Every drop of sweat, every trembling rep, every long night of soreness, they're not signs of weakness, they're the symbols of transformation. You start to understand that the gym isn't just a place to train your body. It's where you train your patience, your resilience, and your character. Growth demands struggle, and struggle shapes greatness. Growth comes when you stop seeking shortcuts. The fitness journey isn't meant to be easy, and that's what makes it powerful. Every repetition you fight through adds to your strength. Every healthy meal you choose over junk food adds to your discipline. Every early morning when you rise to train while others sleep adds to your mindset. Growth isn't a single moment of change. It's the sum of thousands of small victories stacked day after day. You grow when you learn to do the right thing repeatedly, even when no one is watching, and especially when no one is cheering. In your pursuit of growth, pain becomes your teacher. The soreness after a hard workout is not punishment, it's proof that you're getting stronger. Pain reminds you that you're alive, that you're progressing, that your limits are being rewritten. Most people run from discomfort, but those who grow the most are the ones who learn to embrace it. They understand that pain is the price of progress. Growth never happens in comfort zones. It blooms in the soil of challenge. The moment you stop fearing the pain, you start welcoming progress. Growth also comes through patience. You can't rush transformation. It takes time for the body to adapt, the muscles to recover, and the mind to mature. Impatience kills progress because real growth requires commitment. You don't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. You water it, nourish it, and wait. The same is true in the gym. You may not see change every day, but each disciplined action compounds over time. Growth rewards the ones who stay consistent long enough to earn it. Every challenge you face in training serves a purpose. The failed lifts, the mental blocks, the days when motivation disappears, all of them are part of growth. They're not signs to stop, they're signals to keep going. You learn more from your struggles than from your successes. Growth is not about how strong you look, but about how strong you become when everything feels like it's falling apart. It's about showing up, giving your best, and trusting that the effort you put in today will pay off tomorrow. Growth also demands self-awareness. You learn to listen to your body, to understand your limits, and to know when to push harder or when to rest. Growth doesn't mean breaking yourself. It means building yourself wisely. The strongest athletes are not the ones who train recklessly, but the ones who train intelligently. They adapt, they recover, they plan, because growth without balance leads to burnout. Self-awareness helps you grow not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, shaping you into a complete version of yourself. The gym teaches you that growth is not linear. Some days you'll make progress, other days you'll feel stuck. But every session still counts. Even the hardest days where you barely make it through are steps forward. Growth is not measured by daily results, but by long-term transformation. The one who refuses to quit always outgrows the one who seeks perfection. When you learn to accept setbacks as part of the journey, you stop fearing failure and start using it as fuel. Growth changes the way you think about success. You begin to realize that real success isn't about reaching a destination. It's about who you become along the way. You develop mental clarity, emotional control, and spiritual focus. You become more disciplined in life because you've learned to discipline yourself in the gym. That's the beauty of growth. It transforms every aspect of who you are. The lessons you learn under the barbell start shaping how you face challenges outside it. As you grow, you also start to inspire others without even trying. People see your dedication, your focus, your refusal to quit, and they feel the fire to change themselves. Growth is contagious. When you rise, you give others permission to rise too. Your story becomes proof that progress is possible, that effort pays off, and that strength is earned, not given. The more you grow, the more you realize that your journey is not just about you. It's about being an example of what's possible when hard work meets faith. Ultimately, growth in fitness is a lifelong journey. There's no finish line, only new levels to reach. Every season of life brings new challenges, and growth demands that you keep evolving with them. You outgrow old fears, old habits, and old excuses. You become sharper, tougher, wiser. The gym becomes your classroom, and every rep becomes a lesson in perseverance. Growth doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for progress. And when you commit to that progress daily, you become unstoppable in the gym and unshakable in life. In the end, growth is not about who you were. It's about who you've become through the grind. Every moment you chose discipline over comfort, focus over distraction, effort over excuses, that's where the real transformation happened. The body you build fades one day, but the strength you gain within stays forever. Keep growing, keep pushing, and remember the person you're becoming is already stronger than the one you were yesterday.